El Salvador. El Salvador, absent. Equatorial Guinea.
Present.
Ethiopia.
Present.
Fiji. Fiji, absent. Finland. Finland, absent. France.
Present and voting.
Gabon.
Present.
Gambia. Gambia, absent. Germany. Ghana.
Present.
Greece. Greece, absent. India. Indonesia. Iran. Iran, absent. Ireland. Ireland, absent. Israel.
Present and voting.
Italy. Japan. Japan, absent. Jordan. Jordan, absent. Kiribati. Lebanon. Libya. Mexico. Netherlands. Netherlands, absent. New Zealand. Norway. Peru. Portugal. Portugal, absent. Republic of Korea. Republic of Korea, absent. Russian Federation. Sorry, Russian Federation? Present in voting, thank you. Saudi Arabia. Singapore. South Africa. South Africa, absent. Spain. Sri Lanka. Sweden. Sweden, absent. Switzerland. Sweden, present in voting. Syria. Turkey. Ukraine. United Arab Emirates. United Kingdom. United Kingdom, absent. United States. Venezuela. Yemen. All those in favor, please raise your placard. All those opposed? This motion clearly passes. Delegate to China, since you moved the motion, you want to be first speaker? Okay. And are there other delegates that wishing to speak in the speaker list? Okay. When I call your name, you can raise your placard, okay? Delegate to France? Okay. Belgium? Raise your placard high if you want to be heard. Sweden? Dominica? Egypt? Argentina? Israel? Ethiopia? You can put down your placard when I call your name, okay? Cambodia? Austria? Denmark? Kiribati? Equatorial Guinea? Australia and Switzerland. Okay. Any other country that wishing to speak? Libya?
Point of order, you missed my name, my country.
I think I see your name.
You
Let's
missed
check.
in the chat.
You're after Argentina.
Oh, sorry.
Don't worry, David. Are there any other that wishing to be added in the speakers list? Delegate of Mexico, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, I think we can start. So, delegate of China.
Wait a second, we are setting up the speakers list on the software.
Faculty in its commitment to global citizenship education. Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, thank you very much for your time. I'll yield my time to the Chair.
Thank you, delegate. Now, delegate to Sweden, you are now recognized.
Suspense.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, I'm here representing the country of Sweden. To foreign direct investments follow big advantages as economic growth and better relationship between countries, but also big risks such as exploitation and neocolonialism. Along this line, we have introduced in land a set of screening and regulations that control and monitor incoming investments in order to reduce the great risks. Likewise, we also should certainly all reach a key agreement between countries, unifying common sense and respect of the host economy, without obviously downsizing the advantages of the investments, or they will not be economically attractive anymore. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Delegate. I yield my time to the Chair.
Okay, thank you, delegate. Perfect. Now, delegate to Dominica, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair, fellow delegates, as a representative of Dominica, our nation is against any form of colonialism. In 1978, we broke free from the British Empire, and we never wanted to go back since. We support the independence of any nation, and we've been improving our own by making our economy less reliant on exports to other nations that made it incredibly weak in case of drops in demand for bananas and other crops in several markets, especially North American and European markets. Improvement has been slow, but our government will try everything it can to achieve greater independence. So we expect to take part in the fight against the use of investments in order to revive colonialism, and as a way to take advantage of other nations. I thank every delegate and now I yield to Chair.
Thank you, delegate. Delegate to Egypt, you have the floor. Don't worry, it's okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, I'm the delegate of Egypt. During its history, Egypt has frequently been seen as a country for investments from nations such as the UK and the USA, since the economy was fragile but abundant in certain natural resources. According to the OECD Review of Foreign Direct Investment Statistics, the FDIs in 2016 were majorly oil, more than 50%, and real estate and finance, more than 6%. Even though these investments are sometimes useful for Egypt, they have many negative drawbacks too. Local communities lose a lot of territory occupied to build oil pipelines, and the know-how to operate the machinery is not transferred to Egyptian workers. All this represents a form of neocolonialism, since the economically strong states may acquire national resources, giving in return only small payments for concessions and taxes. To face these issues, in 2017, Egypt emanated a law to facilitate the FDIs. Plus, it has signed 115 bilateral investment treaties, which provide fair and non-discriminatory treatment for local and foreign investors. Thanks to this law, the FDIs have increased to the value of $8,937.4 million in the fiscal year of 2021-2022. A possible action to solve these issues could be to establish that in every developing country, investors must hire at least 30% of local workers for their specialized employees. To sum up, Egypt needs investments in sectors like manufacturing and research, and the high-level training of Egyptian technicians, which is really important because, as the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime." Thanks for your attention, and I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, delegate. Thank you. Now, delegate of Argentina, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, I'm the delegate of Argentina. The term neocolonialism generally represents the action and effect of a cultural remnant feature and agent of the colonial era in a given society. In the 1970s, many states gained independence and others took the path of decolonization. Even though the international panorama has now drastically changed, some countries, although formally independent, are actually dependent on development rights indirectly. In Argentina, direct foreign investment inflows have been stable for several years, already on a downward trajectory since 2018. Plus, our country suffered a productive shakedown in the industrial sector and was forced to default in its external debt. Despite the fall of all its efforts, Argentina is still subject to an oppressive inflation. And, moreover, has to deal with the phenomenon of land grabbing, common not only in Argentina, but in other South American countries, due to agribusiness, agriculture, forest plantation, and mining. Currently, being completely independent is not possible, so the best solution will be to invest in a responsible and sustainable way, as stated by the UN on the 1st of January 2016. However, the 17-point sanctions of that date aren't completely respected by companies, as shown by a survey conducted shortly after.
I'm sorry, delegate.
Sorry, delegate. 1 second. Delegate of Dominican Republic, yeah, you have a point?
Yes, I have a point. For
Okay.
Could she, after voice?
Okay, you cannot talk, you cannot hear delegate. Sorry, delegate. You can raise your voice, maybe?
Yeah, but the time was already almost over. So.
You can repeat just the last part of your speech. Okay.
Moreover, Argentina has to deal with the phenomenon of land grabbing, common not only in Argentina, but in other South American countries, associated with agriculture, forest plantation, and mining. Currently, being completely independent is not possible, so the best solution will be to invest in a responsible and sustainable way, respecting the local resources and economy, as stated by the United Nations on the 1st of January 2016. However, the 17-point sanctions of that date are not completely respected by companies. It's not too late to change, but it's necessary to cooperate and take a stand, and Argentina is open to it. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, now, delegate of Israel, you are now recognized.
Can I have the mic? Thank you. Is it on? Can you hear me? Okay. Honorable Chair, fellow delegates, and I represent the delegation of Israel. As history tells, Israel and Jewish people freedom has often been threatened by nations and empires all over the world. In addition to this, Israel's territory is now surrounded by the ashes of ex-colonial empires. I'm talking about unstable kingdoms and puppet republics, which often represented a serious threat for the Middle East avant-garde of democracy that Israel nowadays represents. This is why Jewish governments came back down to seriously face the rampant issues that neocolonialism depicts nowadays and condemn any action that aims to violate the rule of law of free nations. In order so to defend the freedom and democracy itself, we, people of United Nations, we must condemn together the problem of violating freedom by neocolonialism, and we need to do it together according to the main value of United Nations, unity. Honorable Chair, fellow delegates, thank you. I yield the time to the Chair.
Thank you, Delegate. Thank you so much. So, Delegate, at this point, are there any point of motion on the floor? Delegate of China.
Actually, it's a point of parliamentary inquiry. Is it in order to move for a moderated caucus right now, or?
Yeah. Yes, in order.
So, can I move for a moderated caucus of total time 10 minutes, and 1 minute for each speaker, to talk about actions undertaken on the topic.
Okay, perfect. This motion is... Okay, maybe we can reduce a little bit the speaking time.
Like 50 minutes? 50 seconds, sorry.
45 seconds?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So, it's in order now. Are there any other point of motion on the floor? Delegate of Ethiopia?
I have a motion for a silent prayer for the... No, we can't be...
Actually, it's not in order now. You can do this motion only before we start speakers list. Okay, but perfect. Thank you, Margaret.
This one? Yeah? Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. To face this kind of issue, Ethiopia started. More recently, our country has entered a partnership with China, which highly helped Ethiopia. From 1999 to 2019, its GDP per person has grown by 9%, and almost 14 billion of USD has been loaned by China. This agreement has helped a lot, has deeply helped our country, also for the growth of our economy. But in most recent times, Chinese investors are holding back because our position it's a bit precarious because of the effects of COVID-19 and of the recent Tigray conflict. We would like to reassure everybody that we are working on the resolution of the problem, and that we hope that it will be that our supporters will help us. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Delegate.
Austria first adopted rules, the Investment Control Act, in 2011, providing a screening of investments by investors from states outside of the EU and the European Economic Area to guarantee common security and public order, entailing more precise definition of included sectors, better screening possibilities of indirect acquisitions, lower thresholds triggering the authorization obligation, in particular sensitive areas, exemption from the authorization obligation for certain micro-enterprises, including startups, and cooperation mechanisms between the European Commission and the UAE member states. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Delegate.
I have a motion to extend the moderated caucus of 5 minutes.
Okay, perfect. This motion is in order. So we can vote for this motion. All those in favor, please raise your placard. All those opposed? This motion clearly passes. Delegate of Ethiopia, since you moved the motion, you want to be the first speaker or the last one?
The last one.
Okay, perfect. So, we are now in an extension of the previous moderated caucus to talk about proposed action and solution. You will have 35 seconds for each speaker. So now, is there someone that wishing to speak? Delegate of China.
So, the Chinese government believes that every country should have the possibility to invest in others. Although it is necessary to do in the right way, in the best way possible. And for example, the China-African Business Council should be an inspiring example of how a country can manage such situation. Furthermore, cooperation with other committees and the UN agencies is strongly encouraged, and moreover, conferences such as the UNCTAD must be kept in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Now, is there someone wishing to speak? Please raise your placards. Delegate of Denmark, you have the floor.
As Austria, Burundi, and research delegates said, the ideal solution would be the participation of a non-Austrian country that will control the proper execution of agreements. Also, control of the working place should be effective to ensure the acceptable condition and the respectation of human rights.
Thank you, delegate. Now, is there someone wishing to speak? Dominican Republic, you're now recognized.
The Dominican Republic want to impose to all the multinational corporations which invest in small or not development countries the following guarantees: the implementation of minimum salaries, the implementation of reinvestment part of their profits where are located factories, not to take advantage of minors and of the environment, and security, the protection for the workers in these factories. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Please, delegate, I want to remind you to be respectful to other delegates, so be silent when other delegate talks. Listen to your fellow delegates, okay? Always decorum. So now, is there someone wishing to speak? Delegate of Israel, you have the floor.
The region of Israel isn't a solution, but a proposal to the World Committee. The purpose of Israel government is, likely the Switzerland once said, is to set up an international supervisory body whose aim is to avoid any future new colonialist influence capable of limiting the freedom and the autonomy of a nation. This should be independent to avoid any possibly corruption obtained. It's homogeneous to avoid any being subjected to political influences, and also legally relevant to condemn guilty nations and companies. Thank you.
Perfect, delegate, thank you. So now, is there someone wishing to speak? Raise your placard. Hi. Côte d'Ivoire, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, I represent the Côte d'Ivoire, and we will talk about the proposed actions and solutions about the new forms of investment. The principal problem about the new investments is the neocolonialism. Strong countries puppeteering small countries. We think that the best thing to do is to collaborate. We need to help each other to achieve our goals and not to compete against each other, because this will not take us to anywhere. That's all. I need the main time to the chair.
Okay, thank you, delegate. So now, is there someone wishing to speak? Delegate to Australia, you're now recognized. Here.
countries who are invested on aren't always protected. There are some clauses in the international investment agreements that need to be reviewed, as it neglects the poorer countries and focuses mainly on the protection of the investments rather than the protection of the public interest. So Australia also believes that it should be added the participation of non-state actors. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. At this point, is there someone that wishing to speak? Delegate to Germany, you have the floor.
Fellow delegate. Fellow delegates.
Is everything okay, Delegate?
The microphone go.
Okay, it's perfect.
Hello delegates, I'm the delegate of Germany, and my country is principal based on exportation and financial investment, but I want to contribute with a solution that can be work for my country. For example, the country that invest in some country, they can work on the development of their country to institution economic system autonomy for their country. And also can they give a profit percentage of the product that are construction of the materials we bring from the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. So now, we have time for the last speaker. So, Delegate of Ethiopia, since you moved the motion, you have the floor.
Ethiopia's opinion is that foreign investments are what we really need to exploit our potential. Ethiopia is the first exporter of coffee in Africa. With investments, we could create factories for our own production of coffee, which could be a big step for our economy. That's why Ethiopia joined China's Belt and Road Initiative to be better connected in the world for future exportations. We are in favor of signing treaties and agreements as long as they respect our independence policy. The nations that helped us will benefit from their choice. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Delegate. So now, Delegate, we turn on speakers list. We go back to the speakers list. So Ethiopia, you have next one, so you have again floor.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, I'm the delegate of Ethiopia. Ethiopia is considered one of the two countries in Africa that have never been colonized. Actually, it has been an Italy's colony for a brief period, then it reconquered its autonomy, becoming the symbol of the African independence and a great reference point. In the last 20 years, Ethiopian economy and foreign investments in our country had a fair growth. As a matter of fact, Ethiopia and China started an economic and political partnership consisting of investments and economic aids that deeply helped us. However, because of the Tigray conflict and the effects of COVID-19, this growth slowed down. Nowadays, Ethiopia is in another position, being seen as a politically and economically precarious country. We have a remarkable potential, but we are devoid of the prospects to exploit it. To do so, we need to be helped. For this reason, we would like to reassure our supporters that we are working on the stabilization of our precarious position. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest causes of the slowdown of our economy has already been solved. The peace treaty of the Tigray conflict has been signed in November 2022. If we are not trusted enough, we will never pass into the category of developed countries. Now what we need is trust and effective help, not submission. To do so, we need our supporters not to leave us behind, and perhaps one day the distinctions between developing and developed will not exist anymore. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Delegate. Thank you. So now we go on with the Delegate of Cambodia. You have the floor.
Honorable Chair, fellow delegates, As representative of Cambodia, I want to say that for decades Cambodia was a French colony. French colonialism is identified as traditional colonialism, unlike today China, which is identified as neo-colonialism. French colonialism wanted to subdue Cambodia only for expansionist reasons, regardless of the rights of the population. Traditional colonialism must be radically eliminated. Neo-colonialism, on the other hand, in some countries should be changed. Cambodia is one of the poorest countries in the world, and the economy is still suffering from the effect of the Khmer dictatorship. They have undermined the development of its infrastructure and human capital. China is investing in our country today. This could continue to invest in our country, but should increase the wages of all workers at its service. Cambodia is not against neo-colonialism. It simply demands that the laws that govern it be fairer. Cambodia calls for the support of the European community to improve the yields of neo-colonialism on both sides, colonizers and colonized. Neo-colonialism will have a positive effect on poor countries only when contracts are signed and new laws are enacted to protect the most vulnerable. Every country has the same rights. We are all equal. There are no countries better than others. Thank you. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, delegate. So, at this point, are there any point of motion on the floor? Delegate of Austria.
I have motion to open a moderated caucus with a total time of 10 minutes, with a speaker's time each of 45 seconds to talk again about the effects of the pandemic COVID-19 on each country.
Okay, perfect, delegate. This motion is in order. Are there any other point of motion on the floor? Delegate of Israel.
I have a motion to open an unmoderated caucus of 10 minutes about what we just discussed.
Okay, delegate, but unfortunately this motion is not in order now. It's too early to make a unmoderated caucus. Okay? So, seeing none, we go vote for the motion proposed by the delegate of Austria for a moderated caucus of 10 minutes with a speaking time of 45 seconds for each speaker to talk about effects on COVID-19. All those in favor, please raise your placards. Raise your placards very high.
Thank you.
Thank you. All those opposed? This motion passes. Delegate of Austria, since you moved the motion, you want to be the first speaker or the last speaker? Last speaker. Okay, perfect. So now we are in a moderated caucus of 10 minutes, 45 seconds for each speaker to talk about effects on COVID-19. All those wishing to speak, please raise your placards. Delegate of India, you have the floor. Yes, microphone is here. The word delegate is here.
Nice. Just a reminder, page system in English, not other languages. Even though I understand them, not other languages, just English.
During COVID-19, India has suffered because the US and North Europe have managed the vaccine system in a wrong way, emphasize their countries instead of the other countries of South Asia or Africa. In fact, India during the 2020 doesn't have any a spread of COVID, but during the 2022, India was the state where Delta variant was born and where there were like 5.3 billion of deaths. So neocolonialism must be stopped, also because other countries prefer themselves than the other countries.
Okay, thank you, delegate. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, just, okay.
At this point, is there someone that wishing to speak? Antigua and Barbuda, you have the floor.
Antigua and Barbuda's economy is recovering, but output remains well below pre-pandemic levels. Labor market restrictions, lower tourism capital stocks, and school closures during the pandemic may contribute to long-term scaling effect. Following a decline of 20% in 2020, real GDP is expected to have expanded in 2021. An external position in 2021 is assessed to be weaker than the level implied by fundamentals and the desirable policies, with the current accounts deficit extent at. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Delegate. Don't worry. Thank you. Is there someone that wishes to speak at this point?
Dominica, raise your placard.
Okay, please, Delegate of Dominica, raise your placard. I think we have a text for you. Okay, perfect. Again, is there someone that wishes to speak? Delegate of Sweden, you are now recognized.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, after COVID-19, investments, abroad investments, have intensified in a very dangerous way in Sweden, and this caused Sweden to place screening and regulations, which I talked about earlier. And but we are now in an okay level again. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Delegate. Thank you. So, is there someone that wishing to speak? Delegate of Denmark, you have the floor.
During COVID-19,
Turn it off, microphone. Okay.
During COVID-19, a lot of barriers have arisen between the trade of countries, and now we must address those barriers and further develop the single market. In fact, Danish, Finlandic, and Paris business have a lot to offer the world, and the Foreign Ministry stands ready to assist this business in increasing their exports. The barriers-free trade is the key for Danish business to being able to compete. And through active economic diplomacy, strategic sector cooperation, and in partnership with the business community, we will promote the framework condition that will make the solution we choose the obstacles. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate.
Okay, this motion is in order. The chair will not accept any other motion, so we are voting on first on the most destructive motion, which is the motion made by the delegate of Iran for a 10-minute moderated caucus, speaking time 1 minute per speaker, to talk about decisions that you've made building your alliances. So, is everything okay? Yes. This resolution fails. So, this motion fails. Okay, so now we're voting on the motion made by the delegate of Korea for a 7-minute moderated caucus, speaking time 45 seconds per speaker, with the same topic as before. So all those in favor for this motion clearly passes. So we're gonna do it this way. Of course, you can't come here or move around, so just raise your placard, and I will acknowledge you. So, Delegate of Korea, since you made the motion, would you like to be the first or last speaker? Okay. So, who would like to be the first speaker? This is a crucial moment, okay? Because this is when things get done, or we don't do it. We do it now. Delegate of India? No? Okay. False alarm. I will be forced to call you.
Syrian Arab Republic, Turkey,
Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, UK, USA, Vietnam, USA. Are you present on the Cambodia?
President Bull.
Okay, yes. And Yemen.
Okay, delegates, so now we'll start with the session. I need